Evening, everyone. Welcome to ThetaTalks Lives. My name is Maisha Chulani, and we are going to be joined by Sanaiyah Gurnamal. And this evening, we're going to discuss what is really happening around us, where we can't really avoid, right? This is happening all over the news, the war that is going on. We want to unpack it so that we are able to bring a little bit of peace and ease and calm into this whole situation. And so please do not leave till the end, because we are going to be sending and doing a group healing. Okay, we're going to be sending love to all those that are affected, including yourself. And as you know how powerful theta healing is, you will definitely feel a difference. So make sure you stay until the end. And if you do feel that any part of this segment does resonate with you, and you would like to work on any deeper emotions or feelings that you're feeling, please do not hesitate to book an emotional breakthrough session, and that will give you the ability to explore what you're going through further or deeper, so that we can bring you some inner peace and calm that you may be looking for at this time. I know initially this war or what's going on, as it did to us or in the Philippines, but definitely to Sanaiyah. Hi.
Hi.
With her family being in Dubai and directly affected. I was just talking about, sometimes we feel it's happening over there. It doesn't really affect us, right? And so with you and your parents being in Dubai, it has directly impacted you. And of course, now we see the trickle down effects here in the Philippines, with the oil prices and things really now
The
affecting
four-day
us.
the four-day
Yeah.
work week in some sectors, I believe, the government's announced the 4-day work week so that
Yes.
we
Yeah.
conserve fuel. There are, I know, places around the world where, like in India, a particular hotel chain, I believe, has ceased operations because of they have no gas cylinders because they depend on that. And
Wow.
so, you're starting to see this ripple effect all over the world, where what is happening in the Middle East or between the US and Israel and Iran is now impacting, obviously, the basically everyone in some way or the other. So obviously
And
this is creating stress.
yeah, and it didn't take much time. It just happened, right? Usually you would kind of, after months, or you would think, it's going to affect me after a long time, but already we're seeing the impact.
Yeah, absolutely. And so today's topic was designed for those of you who are feeling, stress, uncertainty, who are starting to worry whether you have friends or family living in the Middle East, whether you yourself were meant to go to the Middle East, whether you were meant to travel or travel through any of the countries that are impacted, whether you are in general afraid of these kinds of global conflicts, whatever may be going on for you. Today's conversation on Theta Talks is really about helping you find a little bit more groundedness, a little bit more of, I would say, sense of safety and security, maybe peace in just recognizing that this is happening, accepting that it's happening, but you still get to choose how you want to experience what's happening in the world today. So that's our goal.
Yeah. So I think starting with what I was talking about in terms of it just started and now we are where we are, and it's such a short period of time.
Yeah,
I think
it's
that also
so
makes a
quick.
big difference, right? In terms of the flow of things, right? And the stress and our nervous system, because you don't have time to kind of adjust with one thing. Now this is happening and
Yeah.
this is happening. I think
You know
the
what was happening for
timeline,
me?
the
What was happening?
timeline,
The
yeah.
timeline. It is definitely like, it's really fast. But
Mm,
more than anything, this is what was happening for me internally. So I can imagine some other people may have also felt this too. It was like, okay, we just got over, or I don't know if we got over. I don't think you can really get over, but we just had to process and deal with Gaza
mm,
and the images and the just heartbreaking stories. And it's like we just came out of that. And now we're seeing, the reports of the children, the girls' school in Iran,
yeah.
children graves being dug up.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing people getting injured in bombs. And it's just like, oh my God, why are we back here?
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
thought that was something that we can now move forward
Yeah.
from, but really we can't, because we're right back where we started. And with the invasion of southern Lebanon, with what's happening there, you're like, oh my God, are we just going right back into something that we thought, was I can't even use the right. There are no words. It wasn't resolved. It wasn't,
Mm,
completed. So it's very
mm-hmm.
hard to even describe the situation. But I know that personally, I am scrolling through the news. I'm on Instagram. I'm reading updates from Dubai. Whatever I can get information on, I'm doing that, because yes, my parents are there. I'm urging them, to come visit us. But,
Yeah.
Dubai is their home, and they do
Mm.
feel like they
They're
don't want to
safe there.
leave. Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't want to
Yeah.
leave their home. And of course,
Mm.
I have to commend the UAE for how they're handling the situation. It definitely makes you feel like it is actually a place that takes care of you.
Yeah.
Having said that, it is in the middle of a war zone at this
Mm.
point. The entire Middle East is technically a war zone, right?
Yeah.
And there is uncertainty. I watched a post today about someone saying, I love Dubai. I live in Dubai. I've lived in Dubai for a long time. It's my home. And I feel safe in Dubai, but the uncertainty of
Mm.
what could happen any moment now,
Yeah.
right? Like there are people who are flying out of Dubai airport. And I'm talking about Dubai, obviously, because that's the closest for me.
Yeah.
I do, my family's there, but this is true of other countries within that area too. But it's like in Dubai, people were getting on a plane. They were flying out from Dubai International Airport, and then there was sirens and they all had to go underground. And this just happened. You know what I mean? So it's just like there's uncertainty, there's stress, there's panic. We're going to run out of fuel. The oil prices are going to be unaffordable. I
Yeah.
mean, it's chaos.
Yeah.
Who has nuclear weapons? It is a mess, and it is stressful, and it is something that creates a lot of panic for people,
And
whether we are aware or not.
yeah, and I saw this in your newsletter that went out, and
Yeah,
I really liked how you pointed out that, never, and your parents never experienced this in their lifetime, and they're experiencing it now.
yeah, yeah.
We
Have
have
never.
never experienced it in our lifetime, and our children are now experiencing something like this,
It's kind of
right?
crazy.
It's crazy because it really takes you, messes with what you feel
Is
is.
normal or safe or
Yeah,
reality?
yeah,
I know.
right.
It's like
you
there's so much of
know
questioning. Like, what? And one of the words I use is, it feels surreal that we're
yeah,
actually
yeah,
in this situation,
that is the word.
And
Yeah,
a
that's
lot of
it.
people will be in denial, right?
Mm,
So again, I'll give you an example where I was reading something about, if a missile or debris
mm,
hits the building, or shatters the glass of the apartment you're in,
yeah.
what you have to do is you have to go to a windowless room, or
Mm,
try to be in an area of the house where it's just concrete or
yeah.
walls and there's no windows, because the glass will shatter instantly and you can get you can get really badly hurt,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I was reading all the tips and this was like coming out of Dubai, what to do, if there's an
Wow.
explosion, if a bomb drops, if there's a missile, next to you falls. I don't know. So I was just reading what to do. So I called my parents, and the first thing I did was I told my mom, this is what you need to do
Yeah.
if you find yourself in this situation.
Yeah.
And, this is the part of the house. You can go to the bathroom because there's no windows there. You can go to the laundry room, close the door. There are no windows there. And you can go to the center part of the house because there are no windows. And you can go to the kitchen. And she's like, but there's a small window in the kitchen. I'm like, so she's thinking, she's actually processing it. And I'm like, that's true, but it's small. And it doesn't look like it would shatter far enough to hurt you if you stayed in the kitchen. So I was telling her that, and she was just like processing. Then, I talked to my dad next. So I was repeating the same thing to my dad. And my dad's like, what are you saying? Come on. Like he was in denial. Come on, this is not going to happen. Like he was quite, how do I say? He was in denial. And he's like, he thought I'm overreacting and I'm being a little bit overprotective and I wasn't like in a state of panic or worried. I was like, this is me being rational, saying, you need to know what to do. I'm not worried and I'm not in a state of panic,
but just in case,
you need to know what to do in a case of emergency, right? Because
so is this what you're doing? Is you're trying to make the unknown more known,
more prepared.
Right.
Just be prepared with information. While a lot of people are like, they're kind of like shut down. No, nothing's going to happen. They're just kind of in denial. Everything's fine. Nothing's going to happen. And then if you're in an uncertain situation or you're in a situation where, yes, it's an emergency and you don't know what to do, that's much worse. So I think
because you're going to be in a fight, flight or freeze response, right? Because that's how our our
brain works.
Yeah,
our brain in an emergency, if you don't actually know what to do, your brain goes into freeze mode. But if you actually have information about how to handle that situation,
you can take that action.
You can automatically, your brain will just go into that kind of, I know what to do next, which is why we do earthquake drills in school, right?
Yeah.
Which is why in the US, for example, they do these lockdown kind of drills in school so that everybody knows what to do in an emergency. Yeah. So anyways, my dad was, going back to my story with my dad, he was like completely like, no. And I was like, okay, Dad. He's like, why are you worrying so much? Blah, blah. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm like, okay, you know what, Dad? I think you're not open to hearing right now. That's fine. Let's talk another time. I just kind of left it at that. A day or two later, there was an apartment building in their area that did get hit by debris, a very famous building, and it's very close. In fact, friends of theirs live in the building. So it was that close to them. And then another situation happened where debris fell on a car in an area that my mom frequents, and it actually killed the driver. So it's like, it's right there. It's right among you. And Dubai police started putting out alerts on what to do should you be in that emergency. So basically everything I told my mom and dad just 1 or 2 days ago, they got as text messages. Like, this is what you need to do. It was like officially released by the government that you need to know these things. And I was like, Mom, Dad, like my mom took it, but my dad was like, yeah, I know. Like basically he realized that this is actually something they need to know. And it wasn't like, nothing's going to happen. So I do believe that information is power. Information is key. So don't avoid, stay well informed, because you're actually telling your nervous system what's happening. So you're taking what's uncertain and you're making it more certain, right? You're making the uncertain certain. You're giving your brain something to do, which is to be informed, right?
Yeah.
Everything okay?
Yeah, hang on. I think that was...
Yeah, you're frozen.
Yes, go ahead.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was saying, the first tip for me is, be well informed. Now, I'm not telling you to go and doom scroll and start like, reading everything, because some of it is AI generated and there are some like fake news. So I'm not saying like go obsessively like reading everything, and, don't read information that's going to make you even more nervous or anxious, but read information that will help you stay more informed or better prepared. Right? The second thing that I highly recommend people to do is, it's always great in any situation in life to have some kind of a mantra or some kind of an affirmation that will help you stay calm or grounded. So in one of my blog posts, and even the email that I sent out to my community, I shared something that has helped me, which is "this too shall pass." Just repeating, right now this is stressful and it's anxiety inducing, and, there's a sense of panic, but this too shall pass. Because everything ends, right? Nothing stays in this kind of a, state forever. There is an ending. Things do get completed. Things move on. There is a cycle of life. So constantly reminding yourself this too shall pass. Or if you have another kind of a mantra or affirmation that helps you, like,
and it anchors you. I think
it
you
anchors.
use that word. I like that. It anchors you.
It anchors. So anytime you start to feel a sense of panic or anxiety, you just say, this too shall pass, and breathe. Just breathe. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Some people like to say that. It's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. Whatever regulates you will help if you keep repeating that same thing whenever you need it.
Over and over again.
And even if you don't use those words, this too shall pass, which is something that I just find very like grounding. But even the sentiment, the understanding that, this is just now. It's just temporary. And things will change, or things will, it will shift again.
I think a good example, or, it's the pandemic, when we had, whatever we did, it was one of those things where never in our lives did we ever think something like that could happen, right? And, I'm using that example because it did pass, right? We got through it. We got over it. We got through it. And it did pass. And life became, of course it changed, right?
But normal. Like we forgot. I mean, do we even remember what it was like? It feels like a distant memory, right? Like the panic of COVID, and I mean, it's
correct.
It
the
passed.
Toilet paper running out
of toilet paper. I remember those days, right? But like I said, this too shall pass. That passed. We're here today. That's over. Now this is there, right? So definitely having that kind of a sentiment, an affirmation, or a mantra, as I like to call it, can really, really help. I also have another philosophy that I'd love to share.
Sure.
My parents say to me, like, they're like, oh, don't worry about us, don't worry. And I'm like, and I always tell my parents, I'm like, but I'm not worried. I'm not a worrier. I generally don't worry. And I always tell my dad, I can be concerned about you, but I'm not worried. I don't spend my time worrying and thinking about all the worst case scenarios. And like, my mind doesn't even go there, to be honest, because I'm trained, But what helped me get to this point where I generally don't worry, besides, yes, we actually in Theta healing classes, we talk a lot about stress and worry, and we work through some of those beliefs and programs and genetic, tendencies for us to worry all the time, because that's something we needed for our survival from caveman days. But I don't want to digress and go into that. What I want to say is that I've always said this, and I say this to my parents as well, I'm not going to worry about something until there is something to worry about. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, if my dad tells me, I have to go to the doctor because this is happening and we're waiting for results, I'm not a person to worry until we get a result. And if the result is something that is something to worry about, okay, that's when I will worry. But then I will channel the worry into what can I do to support the situation or help. And then maybe I'll do research. I'll keep my mind not focused on the worry, but on how can I actually be
Of
effective
service or
or
effective.
service or help the situation. And just knowing that I can do something in some way, whether it is to provide comfort or just to be there or hold space, gives my brain enough to do that it doesn't need to worry.
Yeah.
So on one hand, I say, I don't worry until I have to. But then even when I have to, I will allow myself maybe to just worry for that moment. But then it's already like, well, how can I help? What can I do?
Yes. Like
And
you don't like brush it off, right?
No.
You honor that feeling. Yes, they're
Yes.
my parents, I love them, and hence I'm not that worry is just, expressing that love through that, right?
Yeah.
It's an expression,
And I honor it, I accept it, I recognize it. So I'm not trying to avoid it or run away from it or hide from it. But then I also feel like worry actually doesn't do anything for us. Like there's absolutely nothing positive that comes from worrying, right? There's
I'm
nothing.
laughing because I tell my mom, she gets into this whole worry mode. And then I'm like, so what did you get out of it? Did you get anything out of that? Did it
Nothing.
help you?
Did it help you? Did it serve you? For some people, they're like, oh, like a little bit of stress. Like we teach this, right? A little bit of stress actually pushes you into action.
Yeah.
Right? And a little bit of fear also will make you a little bit more cautious or avoid certain situations that could bring that fear to life. So it is helpful.
Yeah.
But worry is one of those emotions I have yet to figure out, or I have yet to find a situation where worry actually, did anything positive for that situation.
So I want to pick up on that because, when you were talking about, or when we talk, when in theta healing, when we worry about somebody or when we're thinking about or
Psychic
focusing
hooks.
our energy, right?
Yeah.
What
I
you're
love
doing
that.
is you're actually sending more of that energy to that person or that situation.
Absolutely. I
Right?
love that you brought that up because I almost forgot that that's something so important for everyone to know.
Yeah. So for instance, if you're worried about your family or what's going on, what you're doing is you're adding on to whatever they are probably already feeling, that anxiety. You're adding on to that. You're fueling it more.
Yeah.
Right?
You're sending them, whenever we worry about someone, right? We are sending them the energy of worry.
Yes.
So for example, I tell my clients who have children studying in college, don't worry about your child, because you worrying about your child, that instead of you sending them love and positive energy, you're sending them the energy of worry, which actually acts almost like a dark cloud over them.
Yeah.
So it brings them down. The better thing to do is, before you go to bed at night, imagine sending love to your child who is, in college, wherever they are. Or when you wake up in the morning, send them love. And that is actually what we can do for people that we are worried about. Instead of worrying about them, send them love, send them light, send them positive energy. And that actually protects them. That actually has the ability to protect them almost in a bubble of safety. And now you're doing something positive. You're doing something that
you're
can actually
being effective.
You're being effective. You're being helpful. You're being helpful, as opposed to sending them your worry, which of course no one's doing it intentionally, but that is how energy works. And that's the truth.
And also, what we learn is when we are sending, well, of course, when you're worried about somebody, it's somebody who's close to you, your relative, somebody you really love very much, right? And as a result of your connection or that closeness, they don't have that ability to deflect that energy of worry, or it just kind of goes in it sticks to them versus somebody you're not really close to and you're thinking about their problem, and it might just kind of deflect or bounce off.
So what you're saying, Maisha, is you're talking about how we accept energy from the people closest to us.
Yes.
So if a stranger sends us negative energy or worries about us, it's actually not going to be taken on. We're not going to take it on because we only open up our energy to people that we are connected to.
Yeah.
People we love, people we know. So we actually take in worry and stress and anxiety more from the people closest to us.
Yeah.
And a great example of this actually was about 2 weeks ago. No, about a week and a half ago. Something happened that I was thinking about. You could actually say I'm trying to go back to how I was feeling. Would I say I was worried? I could say that something was weighing on my mind, and I was trying to figure out how to solve that issue.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about the situation, and I was trying to figure out what can I do about the situation, and I was trying to process and go through it. And I was actually lying in bed with my son Suri, and I was kind of like I like to talk to him and cuddle up with him before he goes to bed at night. And I know this thing was on my mind, and it had to do with another one of my children. But I was putting Suri to bed, right? I was kind of like, with him, and he started coughing.
Okay.
Because Suri is a very sensitive child. He's like one of those he's an empath. He's just an empathic kid. He's very psychic. He doesn't know it yet, but he is. And so probably I would say my thoughts, maybe my worry in that moment, he picked it up right away.
Right.
And he always carries it in his lungs. I've known that since he was a baby. So when I was under stress, I was going through a little bit of postpartum in that first 1 month, right? And I think he was picking up all of that until I tell the story all the time that I was, hormonally and the postpartum, and I called someone from my center at that time. Michelle was working with us, and I called her over and I was like, Michelle, I need some balancing. And I remember, she worked with me on that first month because I was so sleep deprived and I was so just like, and you were pregnant, I think, at the same time.
I think I was in Jakarta maybe during the holidays.
I remember. So that's why I know Michelle was the one who came over. But in any case, I know for a fact that he takes on worry, and he's sensitive to tension around him. So he started coughing right after that, and he developed a cough. And he hasn't had a cough in, God, eons, And I know it was because of what I was feeling at that time.
So even though the worry was not directed
it was not
to
him.
him,
It wasn't
right?
to him. It wasn't about
him. He picked it up, right?
He picked
it up because it was in your space, and he is very connected to you.
Yeah,
so
unconsciously
you don't even have to send that worry out to another person. Somebody in your energy space can also pick up that.
Absolutely.
Feeling,
your pets will pick it up.
Yeah.
Your pets will pick it up, right?
Yeah,
like if you are sick or you are worried or stressed or anxious, your pets will pick it up. And they might get sick or they might behave, in a strange way, but it's because they're just reacting to what you're feeling.
Yeah.
So so just to kind of complete that story with Suri, it was like by the time I realized that I was affecting him, because it was so fast, I was thinking about it while putting him to bed, and then he started coughing. It was like the energy had already transferred,
right?
And he already developed, and obviously there were pre-existing things, like just the day before was like our holy festival where he was playing and he got wet, soaked, and then like basically there was also like his immunity was very compromised and things like that. But it's like, it was just so quick. It was like I was thinking about all of that, and immediately that night, he started coughing in front of me.
Yeah. So, what I suggest we do then, and I was telling everybody that we're going to do is, let's send unconditional love instead.
A group healing. Yeah.
Instead of doing our virtue cards today, right?
Yeah.
Let's take this time to do a group healing, right? whoever's listening, any of our theta healers, right? Let's do group healing. And, you
We'll send
know,
healing to the Middle East,
yes.
to the leaders in other parts of the world that are also involved, and of course to the people who are living in a state of fear or panic,
Yeah.
those who are injured and wounded,
Yeah.
and those who have nowhere to go, and essentially also
And away
send
from
healing.
their family,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so do you want to lead the healing or I'll do it?
You can go ahead.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead into Theta, and I'm going to give any Theta healers who are listening in the instructions on what to do. And Maisha, I'll also kind of walk you through what I'm
Yes.
going to ask you to do. Okay. So Theta healers, imagine yourself going up through all the layers of light. Go all the way up to the 7th plane. I won't guide you through that, but I know you can go ahead and connect. Okay, requesting Maisha and all the Theta healers who are listening in to send unconditional love to the energy of creation, to be held by me, to be collected by me and directed to the situation in the Middle East, to the leaders of Iran, to the people who have suffered and continue to suffer and are currently suffering in Iran, in all the other countries in the Middle East, those who are fearful, those who are struggling, those who are feeling uncertainty, and those who are wounded and injured. Sending unconditional love to the world leaders, to the people and the leaders in the US, sending them unconditional love to shift their energy as well. And to all those who are feeling that sense of uncertainty, panic, anxiety, sending you this unconditional love from the Creator, collecting it from the energy of creation, from the 7th plane, from all the unconditional love that everyone has sent up there, and directing it to those I've mentioned.
And to everybody joining us.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so
That
we all
note,
encourage you to send love rather than being caught up in this energy
worry.
of worry and fear. And unconditional love is a very, very powerful energy.
Yeah.
Right.
And it
So
just
if we
shifts
can
everything.
all do a little bit of that at our end, and that's what we can do,
Yeah.
right? Then
Send love to those in need, send love to the leaders who are making these decisions, send
yes.
love to the land and its people.
Yeah.
Even just by closing your eyes and sending it as a thought or as a wish or as a, as a feeling.
Yeah.
That is much more powerful. Beautiful.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank you for
Thank
joining
you,
us,
guys.
everyone.
Thank you all. Stay safe.